In this video, we will look at the impact of the price ceiling on consumer surplus. Let's start by reviewing the graph. The horizontal axis represents the quantity of TVs, and the quantity of TVs increases as we move from left to right. The vertical axis represents the price of TVs, and the price increases as we move from bottom to top. The demand curve is downward sloping, and the supply curve is upward sloping. We're going to assume that the supply curve crosses the demand curve at an equilibrium price of $500 and a quantity of 5 TVs. As you may remember, the consumer surplus in a free market is found by multiplying the difference between the maximum price a consumer would pay, the equilibrium price, and the equilibrium quantity times 1/2. In our example, the maximum price the consumers are willing to pay is $1,000, and the equilibrium or market price is $500, which is the price that consumers actually pay, which gives the difference of $500. Next, we would multiply the equilibrium quantity, 5 times the $500 times 1/2, which would give us a consumer surplus of $1,250. As you may remember from the lecture on supply and demand, a price ceiling occurs when the government fixes the price of a good below the market or equilibrium price. In the example in the graph above, the equilibrium price is $500 and 5 TVs are sold. If the government sets a price of TVs at $250, then producers will produce only 3 TVs. At first glance, the impact of the price ceiling seems to benefit consumers of TVs because the consumer surplus seems to be the red area plus the gold area, which is larger than the red area by itself. If we were to calculate the size of the red and gold area together, the entire value would be $2,250, and consumers would benefit greatly from the price ceiling. Unfortunately, this is an illusion. The reason why this is an illusion is that the producers of televisions will only produce 3 TVs, because this is where the price ceiling crosses the supply curve. So the gray area is lost to consumers because suppliers are not willing to supply more televisions. If the consumer surplus is calculated, which is the red area plus the gold area, we would find that it had a value of 1,875. So while the consumer increase has increased from $1,250, it's only increased a little bit. Also notice that this gray area represents a loss to the economy because only 3 TV sets are produced. In addition, the 3 individuals who are actually able to purchase the TVs may have difficulty in finding the TVs in the first place. In our example, the gray area is about $500. The consumer surplus is calculated by multiplying the difference between $750 and $200, 250 by 3, plus the difference between $1,000 and $750 times 3 times 0.5. This gives a value of 1,875, which only represents a modest increase in growth benefit to the customer.